I'm going to start with a tiny little confession. People sometimes wonder, when does the rabbi think about what he's going to say? Shabbat morning. And some people think that we're thinking about it as early as possible. As soon as one Shabbat is over, we start thinking about the next Shabbat. So here's my little confession. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to say until Thursday morning. That's 2 days ago. And here's what gave me the idea and the inspiration. Our bar mitzvah, Max, was surrounded by family as he put on his tefillin and said the brachot. And after he gave a little bit of a summary of the speech that you all heard this morning, he put his notes away and he spoke from his heart. And he said, I was thinking about it. And all of you who are here, in order for you to get here, there were a few steps that you went through. Some of you planned when you were going to drive. Some of you had to order taxis in order to get here. He said, I am so grateful for all of the things that you did in order to be here to celebrate with me on this occasion. And I was listening to that and I was thinking about it over the next hours. And I said to myself, what Max displayed is something that we talk about, but we don't often look closely and try to understand. And that's the concept of empathy. Empathy is the capacity to get beyond yourself, your own perspective, your own thoughts, even your own feelings, and try to understand the perspective, the thoughts, the feelings of other people. Max demonstrated in that moment how powerful it is when we can really get beyond ourselves and demonstrate that kind of empathetic thinking and feeling. Most of us have empathy to one degree or another. Some people are more naturally empathetic. Some people are less naturally empathetic. But the thing is that it is so deeply human that in order to encourage people to do something bad, to do something evil, to do something violent, you have to get that person to override their natural sense of empathy. And I'll give an example of that, which is really an extraordinary example. Adolf Hitler, when he wrote Mein Kampf, was trying to prepare the world to regard the Jewish people as not really being people, as not really having any kind of significance. And so he wrote about Jews as being vermin, as being the lowest of the low. And he said, once you understand that the Jews are not only not human, they are the lowest form of existence, then you can prepare yourself to be able to appreciate that they need to be destroyed. He understood that you had to get people to overcome their natural sense of empathy. You see another human being, you feel something. He urged people to override that, and we saw how an entire nation was able to look at a people and see them as being subhuman, to have the opposite, the antithesis of empathy. There was a brilliant child psychologist who lived in Israel and then came to the United States, and he taught parents how to be parents. He taught parents how to be able to parent children without getting into horrific conflicts. He said you have to recognize their emotions, let them feel. But that doesn't mean you always give them everything. You say to the child, I know you want to have 7 scoops of ice cream. It's okay to want it. It's just not something that you should have. Now, in one of his books, he brought a quote from a principal of a school in Israel who was himself a Holocaust survivor. And the principal of this school wanted the teachers to understand the importance of education. He said education sometimes can lead to horrible places. People who are educated could do the worst things. That's not the point of education. And here's what he wrote, and I'm sharing it because I believe it's very powerful. So this principal wrote to the teachers the following: I am a survivor of a concentration camp. My eyes saw what no person should witness. gas chambers built by learned engineers, children poisoned by educated physicians, infants killed by trained nurses, women and babies shot by high school and college graduates. So, my dear faculty, I am suspicious of education. My request is this: help your children become human. Your efforts must never produce learned monsters, skilled psychopaths, or educated Eichmanns. Reading and writing and arithmetic are important only if they serve to make our children more human. This is what he wrote to guide the teachers. The point of education is to make people more human. The point of being a parent is to make our children more human, is to cultivate and expand the sense of empathy, what it means for you to think about and to feel what other people are feeling. That is the essence of what it is to be human. And Jews especially understand that. Jews especially understand how important it is to cultivate empathy. Folks, we are preparing for the holiday of Passover. And Passover, in its background and in its implementation, contains a playbook for empathy. You need to see yourself as though you left Egypt. It's right in the Haggadah. You need to eat the maror so that you can try to feel what our ancestors felt. When you understand all of that, v'zacharta ki eved hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim, you're supposed to remember, and that should affect how you treat other human beings. It is so important for us to learn this, that the whole celebration of Passover is geared towards cultivating empathy. I want to give us a number of requests as we are preparing to enter into this holiday season. If you are at your Seder and you see some people that rub you the wrong way, it happens sometimes. Try to imagine their perspective. Step out of yourself for a moment and see if you can view the world to some degree through their eyes, through their hearts. If you are at a meeting, if you are at work, if you are at a market, try to take a step back and understand what the other person might be thinking and feeling. And when we talk to children, even as they become teenagers, whether they are our children or someone else's children, we can focus on what it means for them to succeed academically. But maybe we should also ask them, have you done something today to demonstrate empathy? Have you done something today to demonstrate that you understand and care about another human being? I want to ask us, as we enter into Zman Cherutenu, the time of liberation, if we can get past ourselves just a little bit, if we can get past ourselves enough to recognize the hearts and the minds of the people around us, empathy is part of liberation. And we have a wonderful young man here who is teaching us what it means to open your mind and your heart to other people. We have a wonderful young man who is surrounded by a beautiful and loving family that are teaching us, as are so many of the families in our community, what it means for us to get past ourselves. We only get redeemed together. And empathy is the key to redemption. I wish everybody Shabbat Shalom. I wish everybody Chag Sameach. And we will all continue with our service on page 155. Please rise as we prepare for Musaf.